Okay, folks, we're on to Chapter 3. Clinical Note by Dr. Cal Curtis on Zachary M. Wasted. First psychotic episode 2 years ago. Oh, look how crazy my hair looks. Alright, whatever. Zachary is a 14-year-old Caucasian male apprehended while walking barefoot by the Spokane River on a freezing winter night. Police reports state that Zachary appeared, quote, lost and confused, end quote, and told them that he was, quote, afraid of zombies, end quote. Zachary further stated that the mental health professional who initially interviewed him was a, quote, zombie in a red sweater, end quote. Initial diagnosis, schizophrenia, adolescent onset, paranoid type. Thinking about it, I realize Frosty and Stormy are probably nicknames, kind of like Wastoid. I wish I were called Frosty or Stormy, especially Stormy. That'd be so cool. But most kids call me Wastoid. A lot of kids see me as a wastoid, you know, worthless. Heck, I sometimes feel that way about myself too, especially when I listen to Dirtbag and Rat. They sure aren't fans of mine. But when I stay on my medicine, things are all right. When I take my medicine, I'm okay. I wasn't always mixed up like this, though. I can still remember from when I was younger. My life was great back then. I had a lot of friends. I liked music. I got good grades without even trying. My biggest problem in those days was getting my hair to look right in the mornings. That and having a pimple once in a while. It was nice. Suddenly there's a loud roaring sound just outside the coffee shop. It's a huge noise. Frosty, who is standing right next to the doorway that leads out into the front of the coffee shop, peeks around real quick, then turns back toward us. What is it? Stormy says. A tank, Frosty says, his face red and his hands shaking. A what? Stormy asks, sounding confused. Frosty yells, a tank, like if we were terrorists, and they needed the army to take us out. Stormy hurries over and peeks out the door, then jumps back. He looks scared, but he says, it's not really a tank. It doesn't have a big cannon thing on top. Frosty snapped, okay, it's not a tank, but it sure isn't an RV. It's an armor-plated SWAT, knock-down-the-walls machine. They'll kill us if they drive that thing in here. Oh, man, if the cops don't kill us, they're going to throw us in jail for sure. We'll never get out of this now, not with all the stuff they have out there. And we can't go to jail. We can't. When Frosty says the thing about all of us getting killed, one of the little old ladies sitting here on the floor makes this big snorting sound. I look over at her and I see that she started to cry. The little girl starts to cry again too, and now the little girl's mom is crying. It's turning into a cry-a-thon back here on the floor of the coffee shop. Frosty and Stormy's eyes dart back and forth looking at everybody. I think they're real nervous. I hear the cops and their big machine roaring. Frosty and Stormy must hear this too. Even I can tell that everything is pretty tense. Tense isn't good. Bad things happen when things are too tense. I try to think of something to say to make things better. Don't worry, I say to Frosty and Stormy, pointing at the crybabies. They're just scared, I bet. You think? Stormy says. He's probably being sarcastic. I know people do that, like before, pretend they're asking a question when they're not really asking it. But sarcasm doesn't work on me because I just don't get it. I've tried really hard to listen for what people call a sarcastic tone of voice, but I can hardly even hear it. And I don't know how to be sarcastic myself. This time I figure I should probably answer just in case he means it. So I say, yeah, I think so. I think they're scared, and they're probably sad about having to sit on the floor and not have their coffee. They maybe wish they could have a maple bar, too, since they're just sitting here having guns pointed at them and stuff. Do you wish you had a maple bar? Stormy shakes his head. Are you trying to be funny? I answer, no. I'm not, honest, sorry. Am I being inappropriate? Suddenly the fat suit yells at Stormy, you can't keep us here! Stormy lifts his little silver gun up so that it's pointed right at the fat suit's chest, and then Stormy says to him, you can try to leave any time you want. The fat suit freezes. Neither he nor Stormy moves a muscle. The only sound in the world, other than all the cop noises outside, is the hum of a big freezer or heater or whatever it is that's behind the closed closet door at the back of the little room. Stormy and the fat suit just stare at each other. Frosty finally steps in and says to the fat suit, listen, mister, we don't want to be here any more than you do, but we're all stuck now, and that's the way it is. He pauses, then he says, just cool your jets, big boy. If you tried to leave, they'd just run you over with their tank anyway. The fat suit looks at their guns. His face, which was bright red a few seconds ago, turns pale. He says, "Okay, sorry." Everybody's quiet. Why doesn't this stuff ever make sense to me? 'Cause you're a gong. Wong is a gong. Gong is a wong. I don't know what that means either. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Wong is a gong. Gong is a wong. I hate to admit it, but I guess I do know what that means. Part of it's true, I just don't like it. You need to let those people come out right now! I wait for the wong gong or gong wong. But Frosty moves quickly to the door of the back room and peers out. Frosty yells back, "We don't want to hurt anybody! Back off and get your tank out of here!" Wow. Frosty's talking back to the voice. He hears it too. But after a few seconds, I realize that the loud voice is one of the cops yelling at us from outside. Now the cop yells again, Let's some of the hostages go as a sign of good faith, and maybe we'll get rid of the rescue vehicle." Frosty yells back, "There aren't any hostages. These people, they aren't hostages, and I'm not talking to you unless you move that tank." The cop yells back, "Okay, calm down. I'll talk to my people out here. You just stay calm and don't hurt anybody." Hostage gone. Wing wong. Hostage dog. Stormy moves over and stands real close to Frosty, talking in a whisper, but loud enough so that I hear. "What are we going to do?" Frosty nods toward the old ladies. "Maybe we should send them out. Buy some time until we can figure something out." Stormy says, "You sure?" Frosty thinks for a second, then says, "No, I guess not. The cops don't know anything about us, but they will if these ladies go out there and tell them. It's best if they don't know anything that's happening in here." One of the old ladies whines, "We won't tell them anything. Please, just let us go." Frosty says to her, "Oh, hello, Sweetie." It's Sweetie. We have a visit from Sweetie, my dog. "Hi, Sweetie." "Yeah. You a good dog?" "Yeah, you're a good dog?" "You are a good dog. Yes, you are. Want to say hi?" "No?" "Yeah, that's Sweetie." Okay, where are we? Sorry about that. La, 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 la. Frosty says to her, "You'll all be fine in a little while, but we got to get out of this first." The cop suddenly yells again, "Okay, we're moving the vehicle. We're going to give you some time to think about it." Is that a doggy in there? Sorry. You think about letting some of those folks out. Suddenly I hear the roaring sound of the cop's tank or whatever it is. Frosty hurries over to the door and peeks around. "Adios," he says as the engine sound grows fainter and farther away. I say to Stormy, "If we could just get to the maple bars, I bet we'd all feel a lot better." Stormy shakes his head and says to me, "Are you sure you're not retarded?" And that is the end of chapter 3.